Dugout Discussions with the coach. I'm Todd Scott Miller, your host. Today I'm joined by an old friend from high school, middle school, junior high, somewhere, like way back. If she says any comments or lies about me saying any disparaging things about her height, it's not true. None of it's true. And her husband, Russell and Cynthia, and they're going to be talking a little bit about what they've been going through and their life so far. And I think you're going to find it's exciting, especially since we just had lunch with triplets. So I've never done that. I've had lunch with little ones, but never triplets. So anyway, welcome Cynthia and Russell. And
thank you.
So you guys have your own law firm.
Yes, we do.
That's correct.
And you got married
2010.
2010. Did you have your own firms then, or
Yes.
We had
just started.
Right.
together, or
We worked separate firms, and then we met in traffic court a couple times, and then I don't know. What would you say had happened after that?
We started dating. Let's just jump to that because we kind of get into a little bit of a dispute as to how it went about, but we started dating. We
is that
dated.
a lawyer thing? You got to argue about that too.
Yes.
Yeah. So we started dating. That was March 2009. Yes,
I
March.
know our wedding date.
March 2009, we started dating. We got married in May of 2010, but we started the firm in September 2009, before we were married.
Gotcha.
Yep. And we would split it down the middle, and then it was more criminal law when it first started. Then it was a mix between criminal and family. Now it's more family, but there's still criminal, and I do juvenile law too.
Okay.
So, there's a good mix, but right now it's heavily family.
So how's
firm.
working together and being married?
It's all we've ever really known. I
We
mean,
don't know any different to compare it to.
Right, and
I can tell, though, it's difficult because I think people like to tell their stories at the end of the day as to what happened in their day to keep the other person informed or entertained. Well, we don't have that conversation because we already know. So I think there's an element of surprise that's missing.
Okay.
That's
and we just kind of get past it at times. I mean, there are days that we're not together. I mean, he goes to court almost every single day, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
I don't. So if I'm not in court, then he'll tell me about his court day. And then I'll tell him what I did at the office, or if I ran errands to keep up with things at the house, or just, to get my nails done or something.
Okay.
I don't see how people, well, it's maybe because we have triplets, but the errands and the 9 to 5, I don't see how that gets done. I actually, I feel overwhelmed by the law sometimes, but I'm glad that we have the flexibility of working for ourselves because errands take up as much time with triplets as the law does itself.
Yeah.
Well, I think people do that stuff like on Saturdays with their kids.
I don't think we could do it.
No, it's hard for us. If we have to go grocery shopping on the weekend with the girls, it's drama.
It's an all-day affair.
Well, between people asking if they're triplets, then stopping to ask, are they natural? Then asking, did you do that IVF? And then asking, oh my God, they're triplets. A shopping trip can be added by 20 to 25 minutes just with the people stopping us. So we can't even really go grocery shopping like normal people because we're literally, and then I feel bad because I was raised, you're raised with manners. Yeah. So if someone asks you a question, you stop, you're supposed to just kind of talk to them and stuff. There are times that I'm just like, yes, they're triplets, and I try and keep running. And, I feel bad because it seems kind of discourteous, but I got stuff to do.
It is the center of attention wherever we go.
Yeah.
It really seems to be that unique.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I do dress them alike, and I have a plan for that. You have 2 girls, so you probably understand that I don't want them looking on photographs later in life and saying, well, why did she have the cuter outfit? To me, if I dress them alike until they tell me otherwise, then they can never tell me I liked one or more than the other and gave them a nicer outfit.
Yeah, well, my middle one and the oldest one look just alike. So we don't really have baby pictures of the middle one. Don't tell her. We just, whenever she goes, "Who's this?" That's you. They're all you.
That's funny.
Oh, that's nice. And she's already the middle child. That's awesome. Oh my goodness.
You guys were, so the girls are 3.
They're 3.
Correct.
So you would have been 36?
Yes.
And
42. I was 42 when they were born, and I turned 43 almost exactly 2 months later.
And their birthday is 7 days before mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
You
they
got one coming up then.
on Friday.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
In case I don't talk to you before.
Right. Right.
It'll probably pop up on Facebook. You know, that's how I remember everybody's birthday now.
I think that's how everyone remembers it. That's how
They,
everyone
they
remembers
weren't born
everyone's
if we don't see it on Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah. You didn't have a birthday if you weren't on Facebook. It doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Well, cool. So what made you decide to have children at that point? You're what, 6 years into a new law practice, a new marriage, and then we're at midlife. Let's have kids.
It's more that we always wanted to have kids, but I had health issues that I had to go into kind of a remission
Okay.
and then be off of the meds that I had been on for a while. So it took us a good, would you say, a year or so?
Longer than that.
Longer than that. And then the IVF process isn't as fast as you would think. I mean, you go in for the meetings, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to get checked. Then you have the process of, your cycles, and then you have to actually start the shots and things. So just to get to the point of doing our first transfer in, I want to say June of 2015. I mean, it was like a 6 months process to get to that. And then with the health issues and everything else, you're looking at 2 years. And we tried on our own for a little while, but it just becomes, you have to admit that it's not going to work on your own, so you have to get help.
I wanted to get it done as soon as possible because, in all fairness and honesty, we didn't get married at 21 or 22. I kind of felt like we got to get this done. We got to get this done now. I don't want to be 70 when my kid is graduating high school, so I thought that was a factor too. Yeah. I wanted kids, and time was not on my side at that point.
All right.
Gotcha.
So, we had them as soon as we could.
So your biological clock was ticking.
My biological clock was ticking. That's correct.
So,
we can admit it. It's a new millennium. We got this, man.
So, we had them as soon as we could, and that's where we are. We did 2 transfers. The second one obviously took. And
It took well.
It took well, almost too well. Our story on that is kind of funny because my husband is now not in love with one of my friends.
Go ahead, tell them the story.
One of my girlfriends recommended our IVF doctor. Really, and she's a really sweet lady, but my girlfriend. And so her story is, they went through IVF for multiple years. I want to say 3 to 5. It was bad. And she didn't want to do anymore, but she got to the very end and she had 4 embryos left. And the doctor and she discussed it, and they put all 4 in, and they got 1 baby. And now this is what you're told when you go through fertility treatments. They put what they consider to be the best embryos in first. So your first transfer is like the A slot,
the likeliest to
succeed, right? And ours almost didn't took. It wasn't a complete failure, but it was a failure. So we had 4 left. And these are the lesser quality eggs. They're not like embryos. They're not like, okay, A team. So we thought about it, and he was like, we're not doing this again. It was too much the first time, not just cost-wise, but emotionally too. So let's just do all 4. And I was like, well, I'm game if you are. We'll talk to the doctor, and if she says okay, because Alexi only got 1 kid. What if we get at least the 1, maybe 2?
Yeah, I thought maybe 2.
Yeah, and so we did it, and then when we got the first results back, they were like astronomical on those hormone levels. And so I was like, babe, they're telling me there's a really good likelihood of at least multiples, at least 2. And I said, because of these scores. Well, that first week, I was 6 weeks? 6 weeks pregnant, maybe 7, I started already having pains, like I guess there's the ligament pains or whatever. And so I went into the ER because, you're already worried, you couldn't have kids, you finally get pregnant, and then you might be having problems, that type of thing. So I roll into the ER, and the doctors took so long to come to me, but I could see they were talking. It turns out that they had called a OBGYN down to tell me something. And they were like, they told her it looked like I had a tubal. Is that what it is when it's on the outside?
I think so.
A tubal pregnancy. And she's like, well, just go in and you just do a DNC. And they're like, no. And they explained. And then so she came in to tell me. And so she starts the conversation by doing a drawing. Like, this is where, and then she starts with, okay, well, baby A. And I was just like, what the heck is she talking about? So she's like, okay, baby A's right here, baby B. And I look at my mom because Russ had a trial. He was in trial. So he had left me, and this is like at 10 o'clock at night. And I was here in Sugar Land because I like the Memorial Hermann in Sugar Land better. So she gets to baby B, and I look at my mom, and I'm like, baby B? And then when she goes, and so baby C is positioned here, and I was like, I looked at my mom, and I was...
That's when I freaked out. I mean, 2 is something that like I felt I could handle.
Now.
I felt I could handle a little more, but I kind of wanted 2 kids. And when we were on the phone and she said we're having multiples, I said okay. I'm a little perturbed, but I mean it's not to be unexpected. But when she said triplets, that's what I really...
Well, it wasn't just that. She said, and then baby D is the embryos here. It's just not formed yet, and it's still early enough that it could form. Oh. And so that's where I was already flipping out over triplets in my head, but when she threw the D out there, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, this cannot happen. We can't have 4 kids at once. 3. So for me, it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, at least it's just 3. But he never got past the triplet idea. And So I called him, and he was just quiet. And I was like, I'll see you later. He's like, okay. So that was when we found out. We found out fairly early, probably October. And we did our transfer like in September. But when they go 2 weeks later, you're actually 5 weeks pregnant because we skip all the little parts of the traveling.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. So. So we found out.
I didn't think about that either. But.
Well, yeah. When she told me you're 5 weeks pregnant, I was like, it's only been 2 weeks. Did I miss something? And she's like, no. It takes.
And there's 3.
Yeah, and so it was kind of interesting and funny. Just like it was crazy. So we found out like around week 7 that we were having triplets.
Wow.
So it was interesting.
And I still had to finish my trial.
The next
and it was a big trial too.
Yeah, it was rough.
How'd that go?
We didn't win. No. But for crim defense, I win more often than not, which is the exception more than the norm. So, but sometimes you can't beat the facts. Yeah. There's nothing you can do. Yeah. Just they never offered me anything great. Might as well try and see and roll the dice and see what I get.
Yeah.
But I definitely sometimes go on someone who is very guilty, and it very much shows. It's just is the jury more compassionate than the district attorney? Gotcha. That's sometimes my...
well, the facts aren't always in our favor, so... Well, it is what it is on criminal.
Somebody's still got to do it.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yes. System falls apart if it's not there.
That's right.
I agree with that. I think there's more utility out of a crim defense lawyer because it's not the most attractive thing to do, whereas the DA, you're the good guy, you've got all the resources, so I actually think it's more important to be a crim defense lawyer.
I agree.
Yeah. And it's tough too.
No.
We got another friend who's one of those too.
Oh yeah.
We won't mention him. Okay. That whole OJ thing.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
He's met him. We've had dinner with him and stuff. When we go to Vegas, we chat and stuff. It's not
smart individual.
Yeah.
And he knows it.
His aunt lives right over.
And he knows it, Malcolm.
Yeah, he knows.
He's always known though, and that's part of the problem.
Actually, we went to law school next to each other. We just didn't know.
Yeah, really?
I went to Syracuse. He went to Cornell. About 45 minutes away from each other.
Yeah, and about 6 years apart.
I understand that.
Well, he went late.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know all that.
So maybe not.
Because he was EMT for a while, and then he went to SFA after a couple years.
That's why he knew some people, because he did like volunteer fire in here in Richmond.
That I can't see. I have trouble envisioning that.
People like that, though. I mean, it's kind of like if you feel like you're smart enough, you can do anything. So he was just like, that took my interest, so I did that for a little while. You know?
Yeah. I'm just here to keep him in check, that's all.
Well, I mean, we see each other usually. I didn't get a chance to see him this last trip because we were there for a very brief time, and we were recharging, so we were just sleeping a lot.
Yeah.
So.
I can't imagine that, recharging with 3 of them, huh?
Well, to completely recharge, we'd have to sleep about a month.
Yeah.
Easily.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I had a friend when my wife got pregnant with our third one, and he says he has 4 kids, but he didn't have them all at once. So that's what he tells me. He goes, now you're gonna have to switch to a zone defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he says. He says that we're outnumbered, and I tell him no. I'm Mexican. We're good. I have a wooden spoon. They fear the spoon. That's what you have to do. You have to make sure your children fear the spoon, and in essence, fear you. There has to be some degree.
The zone was always like when you went out, like talking about the grocery store, like the toy store, or they get a little older and they're like, you got
they want to go here.
One who's standing at the end of an aisle who's got eyesight on a couple, and then one who's with one, and then you kind of switch off coverage.
Oh yeah,
we do that now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we tend not to let them just free. I know some of them. I'm in a triplet group on Facebook, and some of them say like they just let their kids range, like free range, and I'm just, there's no way.
We wouldn't have a house left.
Yeah.
No, it's bad enough we haven't had a chance. We've been so busy with work that the only thing that really suffers in our life when we're so busy is our house. Like, if it could cry, it would cry on a regular basis, because, I mean, we get to the point that we're just in survival mode. So we put them down at 7:30. By the time they really go to bed, it's about 8, because then now that they're potty training, you know, their main thing, as soon as you get them all comfortable, is, I got a potty. So you don't want them to be uncomfortable, so you get up, and usually 2 out of 3 will pee. So you take them back, and then by the time they're down again, it's like close to 8. So at 8 o'clock at night, when we've been on the go since 6:30, we're done. We're like, the house can just sit there. We already washed the clothes. They may not be put up, but at least there's something for tomorrow, and we move it. We move on from there.
Yeah, my wife and I noticed that a couple weeks ago. We were tired at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then it's like, remember when we used to make fun of our neighbors who were going to bed at 9 and we were leaving the house at 9?
Oh, it's a different mentality, different age completely. It's just, I made fun of my, let's just say we had a babysitter. I won't say the connection. 22 years old, and told me that she was working all week and couldn't come work on the weekend because she was too tired. And I was just 22. I was like the Energizer Bunny at that age.
I'm tired.
I know. And I thought to myself, at 22, I could go like from day till dawn, get dressed, go out, go have fun, go.
You know, it could have been an excuse.
It could have been an excuse, you know.
It could have been, I don't want to, I'm just going to be pleasant about it.
Possible, but I really think not, because it's my understanding.
That's true.
Yeah, or, you know, I'm getting a job that pays more or something like that, because it's my understanding that she goes home and goes straight to sleep, by the way.
Which I remember that as an adult, but for like the first 2 months.
Yeah.
After that, you get used to it. But before law school, I worked at a PR firm, and I remember like the first 6 weeks out of being an adult, I remember just working and then going home and sleeping. But then,
into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember partying.
College,
Yeah, right.
I remember partying like in 32, 33, and I was working a full-time job. You know, you'd go out and you'd stay out till midnight 1 and then get up the next day and you're like, oh, hey, I'm at work again.
Well, that's how I feel about law school and college.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was just interesting to me that was somebody that was so young, and I'm just, it's a whole different generation, I guess.
It is. Yeah. I really believe it is.
Yeah.
It's a generation of okay rather than go do it.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see.
You gotta when you're married, you got a law firm, you got 3 little ones. It's gotta get it done.
Yep.
Just gotta do it.
No
There's just no
excuses.
choice. I've been
And
sick
like
for.
you said, the house is.
The house is the one that suffers.
With everybody, I think we cleaned ours at 11:30. Y'all got here about noon.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not really clean. Everything's in my bedroom, so it'll just come.
We do that.
We've done that.
We've done that.
But we have someone come usually once a week, and it lasts for like that day.
Yeah.
By the next day, it's just there's just nothing that can be done really. I mean, and the kids are old enough. They do listen for the most part to pick up your shoes, pick up your toys. It goes in the toy box, that type of stuff. And so they will do that, but I mean, it's just the rest. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's tough.
I noticed
Make it work, huh?
the triplets. Me and her have been almost constantly sick since we've had triplets, and I wasn't before. I was that guy that got a cold maybe 2-3 times a year, and now
it's gone. Well, and we put him in daycare at 23 months, and I think that was the turning point for us as well. So I've been sick for almost 2 weeks now, and I took antibiotics. This is good. Like, my voice is actually really good at this point. And I mean, what I've learned that's different is that even if we're both sick, it sucks to be us because we still have kids. So we have to go get them. And there were 2 days I was really sick. I couldn't even get out of bed. But I told him, I said, I'm just taking meds. I'm here. 5 o'clock rolls around. I got to put a meal out. I got to get him up. I got to get him dressed. And then I'm on until 8. And then I can go lay down again.
Well, I imagine it's different with parents of 1 or 2 that are spaced out because mom can help or dad can help. But no one's going to watch your triplets for you, sick or not.
It's tough.
Yeah. That's a tall order for anyone to come help you. Whereas I think with other kids, other situations, you may be able to get that rest.
Well, and it depends because it's a little bit harder now because the girls go to bed earlier. When we first brought them home for the first year, probably a year to 18 months, 3 of my aunts would come once a week, each a different day. So they would help us. And then the other 2 days, usually my mom and dad were there, or we brought them home in the summer, so my sister was off. So she would come for like the weekend, almost every weekend in that summer, so that we had help because they were so small. And so they weren't going to bed at a certain time. They weren't on a regimented schedule to this degree. So, and they weren't sleeping through the night. It took that was forever. So,
1 still doesn't.
Well, that's a whole nother story. So I think that's part of the issue is that even if they want to help, I mean, they can't get over there. Like 2 of them work, so they couldn't get there till 6. So then they're only there for about an hour and a half before they're going down. Versus they used to get there 5:36, and it would be 10 o'clock before they could leave. Yeah. Because, we're dealing with them. So it's a different dynamic. So we really haven't had the same 3 times a week. And then one of my aunts, her kid had a kid. So grandkids are always going to trump your kid.
Yeah, and you learn, so you've already experienced this, where your kids are each different. Even though they're triplets, they're each different. They each have their own personality. They each have their own way they react to punishment or
situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get that question a lot too. People just assume that they're the same. And they say, it must be nice, you got it done all in one shot. I said, you don't understand, we got 3 separate kids at one time. So it's not like, they all follow suit. One likes this, one likes that, one likes that. One sleeps. Like Addison was our sleeper. One time she slept 10, 12 hours, but then she had feeding issues. So that jacked up her sleeping schedule. But she would have been the most amazing baby sleeping all night at like 8 months. Yeah. But, that changed. And then Annalise, he's referred to her earlier, she just is a horrible sleeper. I mean, she's gotten somewhat better. Some nights she sleeps all the way through from about 10 to 7. Some nights she's up at like 2:30 in the morning. Yeah. And Addison's only gets up if she loses her binky, which they sleep with, or like she fell out one time out of the little... So... And Alexis sleeps for the most part. So, I mean, it's just different dynamics. I mean,
Sounds like they're having fun now.
yeah, they're having a good time.
Yeah, someone's doing a good job.
So I don't know. I mean, it's different. You've got to learn to manage it differently. You've got to approach it differently. What one will want and what one doesn't want, one doesn't care. You know, it's hard to figure out how to handle each situation. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's something that's important, is figuring out that they're all different. Yeah, I think too many people want to pretend like kids, you treat them all the same, and you can't. They're different individuals, and
people think they're interchangeable.
yeah, and they're
oh no, not on any means.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
They require different. My oldest, he required the occasional beating, just because he just needed an adjustment, a physical adjustment. The youngest, you could just look at her mean, and she would start crying. I mean, just, oh, I'm so sorry. It might have been you stubbed your toe. It wasn't even you were upset. She just, but the middle one though, first of all, if you tried to like spank her or do anything like that, she would not budge, and she would just stand there, and she might get one tear, but that was just her crying about having to kill you in your sleep later. she's very different.
Oh, I agree. I think that we have similar. I mean, you've got one that's just like Annalise is all heart and gets upset easily, very easily, and it's hard because that's not my personality. I'm not gonna cry over just anything, and I'm not gonna get too upset. If anything, I get angry, not sad. So she's just completely different from me. She's so soft-hearted, and Alexis is more independent and wanting to do this, but she's kind of a pleaser too. But Addison's a whole different animal, man. We were telling my aunt and uncle last night that they asked us who's the most difficult, and we both, without any hesitation, were like, Addison. And it's not that she's bad. I mean, she's loving too. She just moves to the beat of a different drum completely. The other two are content to watch TV or to hang out, or they play more than and Addison is just like walking around the house. She's going to come find me, and, oh, Mommy, do you need help? And, stuff like that. It's different. And getting her to do something when she's decided not to.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
It's near to impossible. Just seeing her at eating lunch. I mean.
That's my middle one.
She wanted, and she would rigid on her legs because she was not going to sit on the dang bench. And you go back and forth, and you don't want to break her legs or anything like that. But I don't want to have a meal where she's sitting on my lap the entire time.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to eat? That doesn't work out. So I mean, it's kind of a balance. Some days she can sit on my lap, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm like, sure, just sit here. And some days I'm like, you need to go sit on the bench. So that's where we run into. And the shoe thing, because they match. I don't know if you noticed, they usually wear the exact same thing, head to toe. Bows are going to be the same color, shirt, pants, whatever, anything other than underwear. So,
do you do that on purpose?
No, I
dress
them.
Okay.
I dress them that way.
Okay.
And I mean, to me, uniformity is easier. I don't have anybody saying I did anything more favorable to the other in general. They usually get the same of everything. And so that's where we run into gifts. My aunt was upset because she wanted to buy one kid a special gift because it's her goddaughter. I said, you're welcome to do it. I'm going to run out and get two more though, because I need to make sure that the other two have something too. Otherwise they're going to be fighting like cats and dogs over it.
That's anything. You can't have one.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah. It's our life.
Especially that they're the same age.
Yes.
Yes.
When they're spread out like mine were, you could get one thing and not the others.
Well, they understood.
Get away with that, but when they're all the same age and they're the same
sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Well, we get the triplet moms we've talked about. We have people come up to us. I have 3 under 3 or 3 under 2. It's almost like having triplets. And I said, no, it's not.
No.
And I explain, when people tell me they have 3 and I said, you don't understand. Your 3 are not the same age. Because when I try to explain something to 3-year-olds, they all understand on the different spectrum of 3-year-olds. When you try to explain something to a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, and 6-year-old, that's completely different. or you have an 8 and 6 and a baby, you got 2 helpers. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You got people that understand, go get me a diaper, go get a wipe, come here. You know, I can't tell the 3-year-old to do something for the other 3-year-old other than go get her baby or go get this. Because even now I'm like pointing straight at something and they may or may not get it. And so it's a different situation based on, you know, and I'm not saying life isn't hard for people with children. I don't even do that because, you know, anybody who is parenthood, motherhood, no motherhood shaming, no anything. Everybody's drama is their drama.
It's just different.
It's just different. And, you know, I'm not saying ours is harder because I understand too that though we're not rich by any means, because if we were rich, we would have rolled up in a nicer car. But I understand that we have means different than other people. You know, I know people that they have 3 kids and they struggle every day just to put food on the table. We're lucky and they both work and they're probably both tired, and when they get home, they don't want to cook. You know, but they have to because they can't afford just to go out. You know, like when I was sick, really sick, one of those days, Russ is just like, I'm just going to get a pizza. You know, and some people don't have that discretionary income. You know, there are weeks that if we work too much, we're eating out 3 days during the week. Easily.
Yeah.
And, you know, and for a family of 5. And it's not cheap, you know.
It's not.
So.
Wait till they don't eat off the kids' menu anymore.
Oh, well.
And I'm going to disagree with you at a point. I think it is harder. That's it. That's my point.
He doesn't even want to be politically correct. You
No,
hear this?
It's harder. It's harder with 3 at one time than it is with 3 of any other age.
Yeah.
But you have to, and the difference is this. Russ grew up, and I'm going to say this. He grew up, and his family is tiny. Like, he thinks he's like, oh, we have a family. No. You have a brother, a sister-in-law, 3 nephews, a mom, and a dad that passed away in the last few years. That was his whole family. They could fit in a van. One van. I was like, that's entirely different. I grew up in a Mexican family, traditional, with my mom was the eldest of 11. By the time I was like 8, I already had some cousins. And by the time I was 10, 12, I was babysitting. So I understood the difference in that. And he doesn't really realize that, you know, because we had our kids later, because we were more established with our jobs, we had money coming in. We've had breaks that people that have triplets or 3 kids never get. Never. Because it's a constant work to provide for the kids. They don't go on vacation. They don't get a weekend break. They don't have the families that come over to help them with the kids. Like, we'll be able to go, you know, if we want to go to a movie or something, my parents will come over. We can handle it. Now that they don't have to lift and stuff, they can just put the kids in bed. So we can leave them at 6 and go have dinner. We can go to a movie. And I think people, not everybody has that opportunity to get away like that. And that's what I mean. It's different for us. I by no means do I think it's easy, but I mean, I think we've been blessed that we are comfortable to be able to have those opportunities.
You know, part of the big reason why I really wanted to bring you guys in is because you're at the midlife with all of this also, right? And you know, that's something, like, I've noticed, like, in the last year, I developed really bad asthma.
Really?
You know, I've kind of had it over the years, but not like this, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it just got to where
As you're older, weaker.
it turned on. And a couple days ago, my ribs started hurting, and it bruised, and I strained a muscle, and I don't even know what I did. It's like, what did I do? So last night, I'm reaching across to plug my phone in, and my wife goes, well, that's probably what you did to strain it. And I said, I think you're right.
Just
You know,
to
it's
get
weird. You know, when you get older, things just
Don't work as well.
don't work as well. I would go to bed at night, fine. Wake up, go to stand up. I sprained my ankle in my sleep. I don't know how. I couldn't walk for 2 days.
You were
Like,
sleepwalking.
Like, what happened? You know?
No, I think physically we do have some issues here and there, which I'm trying to correct on myself, which is hilarious because, you know, I was never athletic, even as a youth. I didn't run. I wasn't like, I mean, to me, even at 15, 16, running was like if, you know, you were being chased with a knife.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't going to run out there.
You run only if chased.
Yeah, exactly. So I started really thinking and I never really thought, even at 40, 41, that I was old, or that, how life was, I was midway almost in my life, if I'm lucky, midway-ish for beyond, until I had kids. And that, I don't know if that clicked with you younger than me, or if it never really did, but that's when I really realized my mortality. Like, oh my God, I can, I'm older, I can have a heart attack, my knee hurts, what am I going to do? I've got kids. I want to be able to be with them the way my mom was. My mom had back problems, but we would still dance in the kitchen, and things like that. And if they have dance competitions, I want to be there, and I want to be able to be there all day long, sitting on a bench and being able to cheer them on. I want to learn, I'm that mom. I want to learn the routines so that I can help them at home. So anyway, long story short, I ended up starting last December with Orange Theory, working out. And it's pretty hardcore, to be honest with you. I mean, I went from couch potato to Orange Theory, and I didn't think I was going to survive. But I mean, I've managed, I've gotten better, I've gotten stronger. When I'm away for it for more than 2 days, I start feeling like, oh, I've got to go back. So after that, and then I had some reflux issues, and I try to start working more. I don't eat like I used to. I still indulge from time to time, and I love my wings, so I'll just take extra reflux medication and I'll eat some wings. I've been letting myself eat pizza, but I had been away from it for 2-3 months, which is good. And I mean, I may eat 1 piece or 2 depending on how hungry I am, but I won't eat 4, or 3. So, I mean, I've made some adjustments along the way. I've lost some weight along the way. I've had some different illnesses with the kids that helped me.
Yeah.
And so, and that's
a rough way to do it,
but that's how I've been adjusting and dealing with it. And overall, I think physically I'm getting better to where I can handle dealing with them. I mean, not to say I'm not tired and my back doesn't hurt, but I power through like I've been taught to all my life. Yeah. And then, but I think having kids older, though, and having to go through what we had to do to have them, I'll say that. I'm not saying that at a younger age you weren't patient, but I think me as an older me, I wouldn't recognize me. Like, young me would not know that was me if I saw old me.
I would agree. I've become more patient as I've gotten older.
Right. A lot of more stuff just kind of slides.
Or it might be more apathetic. I'm not sure yet.
It could be either way. I think it helps when you're dealing with toddlers and when you're dealing with triplets, because you're just like, oh, you did that. I don't care.
Just what it is.
Yeah, just like our dog ruined a door. We're like, we hate you, but it happens. Yeah. So, and I think that's helped us a lot in dealing with the girls and raising the girls, is that we are, the two of us, and I mean, he's extremely laid back, almost, he's asleep half the time type of laid back. And I'm more rigid, and I know that, but I'm not as rigid as I was when I was younger, believe it or not. And so I think that being older helps us like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that, because I've noticed that in myself, is more patient, a little calmer as I've gotten older.
Yeah, the younger you are, the more energy you have to run around with them all the time.
That's true.
And
he's younger than I am, and he has a harder time.
I do.
Ask him.
Yeah, I have a harder time.
He cracks me up.
Well, that's because we don't live as long.
Yeah, they kill us.
You see, they need to take that into consideration.
They kill us? Did
Our
you
average,
look at me?
Our average age is like, 72, and women are 78. See, that's the age difference right there.
There you go.
You're literally the same age. It's just...
No, I have a lot more trouble keeping up with them than she does.
He really does, and it makes me laugh, because I'm like, Russ, you're younger than me. And I'm like... Because I do more with them. If there's a bounce house, I'll get in the bounce house. I've taken them to the trampoline park for a birthday party with my aunts, and I'm jumping and running and doing stuff with them, and I just trudge. I mean, you just go along.
Yeah, we're going to take my middle one. We're all going to Disney after her graduation for graduation. So there they can't keep up with me. But
oh yeah, I can imagine. It's fun.
Yeah.
But,
we want to take the girls to Disney, but we don't know what age we should. Right now it's too young, but we want them, I don't know, maybe like 7 is that perfect age where
6, 7.
I think there's
There's a perfect age out there for Disney.
There's a good mix right around then because it's still kind of magical.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
They don't know it's not reality for the time that they're there.
Yeah. Because even Devlin, when she was 9, like in the Haunted Mansion, she'd start pointing out how they did certain tricks.
Right. Right. We don't want that.
So.
But we don't want them now where they won't have any memory of it either.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
They enjoy it. The thing is you'll remember. I remember I had a job at Cape Canaveral when my son was 2.5 or so, and it was over Memorial Day weekend. We were there that weekend, and Cape Canaveral shut down. Like they came in Thursday, said don't come in until Tuesday. We're closing the gates, and you're not. It's the government. Anyway, that's your tax dollars at work. Anyway, we went to Disney, and for those 4 days, because we'd already been on the beach for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we went over there, and it was fun. You know, he got to do a lot of stuff, and we got a picture of him walking with a Coke bottle. We remade it when he graduated. But his room had been decorated with Winnie the Pooh, and we went to a character breakfast where Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and Piglet and Eeyore came out, and we were sitting there and he's eating, and he looked up and Winnie the Pooh walked out, and he stood up in his chair, and I got this picture of him with this look on his face like they're real.
Yeah.
That was worth it.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that look. You know, it was one of those where sometimes you just, as tough as it is, as tired as you get, you know, it's those moments that you remember, and it's like, because you forget being tired all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You forget the bad stuff. You know, you forget the fights. You forget all that stuff, but you remember that more than anything.
Well, and I think I get that a lot. I mean, we get, I speak for myself when I say that. I get a lot of that. I mean, I know that they're just nuts sometimes, and then they'll turn to you and they're like, oh, we love you.
Yeah.
Or come and sit there. It's almost like Alexis will do something, and then she knows that you're mad at her. She'll come up to you and start hugging you.
Yeah, they push you to the limit and then take you back to where you can't understand why you got angry at them in the first place.
Yeah.
They're very manipulative.
Yeah, they're very manipulative. They're very manipulative.
I'm not going to say they're women, but...
You know, I had a conversation with a friend of mine not too long ago. It's amazing. I don't know, not sure, but I didn't do anything to facilitate them acting like women or acting like, girls and boys, but just intuitively and naturally, they gravitate towards female things, shoes, bags, stuff like that. It amazes me. I find that to be very interesting.
I've never actually, like the first time I showed them shoes I bought them, they got excited. It wasn't like I told them, look, and got really, I was just like, Mama got you some shoes, look. And then they were in the cribs going, woo.
Not one has asked me about basketball or football, and I don't think they will.
Yeah.
Well, we watch it. When the season's on, we'll watch basketball, we watch football. Right now, we just keep them calm. So, but when football season starts, we put the TV on football, and so they have been exposed to it. Our family likes sports, so they'll get into it as they get older. I don't think they're gonna be excited at 3. Maybe when they get a little bit into like 4, 5, 6.
I just think it's an interesting nurture versus nature debate, and from what I'm seeing, a lot of it's nature.
Nature, yeah.
Yeah, a lot more than I used to think. I was having this conversation with somebody, I don't remember who, but at the courthouse, but nature takes a lot more precedence than I used to think it did.
Well, and they go to school, so they get exposed to other young girls that they may be getting more prissy stuff at home.
It's hard to say.
So, obviously I'm thrilled.
When we went to Disney when they were older, they loved doing the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and getting all their hair done and everything. And now, they still like having their nails done and getting their hair done and stuff like that. But they're not princessy.
Yeah.
Like they used to be, But now they're more comfort.
So you're saying it's something they could grow out of too?
It's something I think it's like, I don't know if it's also age or if it's they change and they go through phases and different things, and it's
Well-
kind of strange. It's interesting to watch kids as they grow older
Yeah.
and what they gravitate towards and how they develop and change, and and that's one of the things that I've talked to parents about who've had young kids. It's like you gotta let them be who they are, because if you try to fight it, man,
Oh, and that's one of the things, like with Addison, her bulking on the shoes. I mean, I don't want to wear those shoes. I want to wear these. And I mean, at some point, I just say, fine, you can wear the black shoes. I don't care.
Yeah.
If you really want to wear the black shoes. And so one of the days last week was Wacky Day. So I put mismatching pattern outfit. I picked
Must have killed her.
It did. I put the shirt and the pants on them all. But I let them pick their own bows and their own socks and shoes, Well, the socks. The shoes had to match too.
That's
So-
Wacky Day.
That was Wacky Day.
Wow.
And so she picked these bows, and then she found leg warmers, like from a costume. And she was like, I want to wear these. She was so excited. And I was just like, if it makes you happy, fine. And so she was the only one with leg warmers.
Lauper in the group. Look at that.
Oh my gosh. And she had her hair up and stuff.
Girls just wanna have fun.
So I just really think, and I tell everybody, I think she's going to be my fashionista. She's looking at stuff. She wants to, no, I want to wear this. No, I want to wear that. Put that necklace on me. Nobody else wanted to wear a necklace. I offered the necklace. Nobody wanted to wear it. And so
Yeah, my youngest went through an all black phase for a while.
I did that in high
All
school.
black, and
And that was
that-
lazy on
now
my
she-
part.
Now she's the brightest color she can find. I mean, she's got these yellows that are like, oh my gosh, you can't wear that out with me. You look like you just escaped from a construction crew.
I did black because it was comfortable and because I didn't have to like match things.
Yeah, it was easy.
It was easy.
I could see that.
I was lazy. I was never like overly.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming and sharing all this.
Absolutely.
I think this is good for people to hear too. Is it's like part of what I want to do with all of this is let people see that there's others out there going through what
Right.
they're going through some of the same difficulties, going through some of the same issues, and at the same time making it.
Oh
Make
yeah.
it work. And it means maybe the house suffers a little bit. So what? No, Leave It to Beaver wasn't true either. Okay, we all know that, but there's people who want to believe it. It's not real, right? And this is life. It's the way it is. Sometimes it's messy and hard, but it's fun, and you get these little things that are your responsibility, and you play with them, and you grow them like a little. You water them, and you feed them, and then you throw cupcakes at them, calm them down,
And then they get hyped
and
again.
then you paint their nails, and then
Oh, they're
I don't
excited.
know what was going on out there a little while ago, but
They were so excited to get their nails done. And they sat still for it when I did it the first time. I was surprised.
And then one day, they're like moving out, or they're driving, and you're like, man, where did it go?
So many people tell me that.
Where did it go?
I
Yeah,
know.
I hear that from everyone.
Yeah,
I'm in the thick of it, so I don't see it, but
exactly.
I know someday I will.
Yeah, he doesn't have the same reminiscing that I do. Like their birthday was yesterday, and I was just like, oh, I remember when they were like, we were giving birth, and
When they turn 3, there's not a lot of reminiscing. I mean,
She does.
it's 3 years.
only a few years. I mean,
But they're not babies anymore. Like I call them
you
babies.
survived terrible twos.
Well, they weren't that bad.
The-
I mean, it's not.
I always thought 3 was worse.
So far, I agree with that.
No, I mean,
You're a day into it.
well,
I agree with
he
that.
can foresee it, and I think it's harder in different. But I'll say this: like people in what they don't get is that every stage is hard. It's just hard in different ways.
Yeah.
This is more manageable. We're able to sleep some. We look forward to Saturday and Sunday like we did when we were young, but for different reasons. These are the 2 days that we don't set the alarm, and we have children that aren't obnoxiously early risers.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody that has obnoxious children, because I know,
Get up early.
yes, Because I know people, they tell me, oh, you mean your kids sleep in? Because mine gets up at 5:30 I'd shoot myself. I mean, I think that's rude, I'm sorry. But you know what I mean? It's crazy. So our kids, I think they would sleep more during the week if we could let them, but they still get a 2-hour nap. And so on Saturday and Sunday, like Friday to Saturday, they go to bed, and today they woke up at 7:30. We didn't have to go in until 8. Like, if I hear them, I let them go until they start getting upset because they have pull-ups on. So no fears there, right? Yeah. So, like, 8 o'clock is when we had to get up and go get them. So, I mean, you sleep straight, and you're like, oh, I got to sleep till 7:30. And then the same thing tomorrow because we're here. They probably won't get a nap. So they're going to bed at 7:30 tonight. Nice little bath, and you're out. You know, we're going to go hang out at Uncle's for a little bit, and I'm putting their little butts down by 8, and I'll be like, yes, tomorrow, 8 o'clock.
I like that you're seeing it, because not only is the stage different, but your job kind of changes as you go through these ages. Like in the very beginning, it's just keeping them alive.
Suicide.
They can't feed themselves. They can't change themselves. They can't do any of that. You're doing everything for them. And then they start doing stuff for themselves. And now you're teaching them not to hurt themselves while they're doing it. Don't stab yourself in the eye with the fork. Don't touch the hot stuff. Don't eat the cupcake that fell on the floor. Okay?
Well, at home we let them.
We have pets, you'll die.
I'm like, at home, full disclosure, we let them eat the cupcake off the floor.
Yeah, I wouldn't let them eat them on my floor.
Oh.
But anyway, it's because our house suffers too. And ours aren't even 3-year-old triplets. And
oh man.
But then you get to the age where you're kind of getting them through school, and you're helping them learn to think and to act and to make mistakes so that they don't make really big mistakes when they get older and things like that. And then it's kind of nurturing them and preparing them for the life. And then it's like my son now. Occasionally I'll get hey, what about this? Or questions about that, or just things going on in life. It's not, you're no longer, keeping them alive, you're giving them advice. And
yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It changes. And if you change with it, I think things go really well. But it's people who try to keep it at that stage that have a rough time.
I try to, then that I call them baby still, and I'll be like, who's my baby? And they'll come running and they'll cuddle, but and I've read things like don't push them so much by calling them the big girl already and things like that, but I let them try and do their own stuff. They have their own responsibilities. They come in the house, go take your shoes off, go take them to your room, and they do those things. Just monitoring, and I think a little bit different to me. I think even at this age, we're preparing them for life. That's my take, because for me, just right and wrong, manners, accepting things like, no, you can't have gummies every minute of every day. That prepares them for not being these little...
Or what do you say, please and thank you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want my kids... I tell people I don't want my kids to be those kids that they're coming back to me because they can't do on their own because they've never been told no.
And that's where they come into my office as a criminal defense lawyer at the age of 30 and wonder what the problem is.
Right, and they're not accepting consequences for their actions. That's why I have the spoon. And I give them chances to not need the spoon. But if they need the spoon's coming, because you can't tell them you're going to spoon them and then don't spoon them.
I'm still struggling with the spoon.
It's a wooden spoon I bought from IKEA. It's like a paddle.
But why is it not chunkless?
Oh, I don't wear chunkless. No flip-flops from my house. Well, I have some, but I don't want to use them. They're dirty. Then I'm going to have a kid that got an infection from the spoon, from the thing.
Because my mom had the spoon. I got it a lot.
Well,
I'm just saying.
And I don't
like
that.
Another guy who we talked about earlier, he might have got it a few times.
I bet he did.
But that's okay.
But that's called smart mouth. Smart mouth, man. That's like I see some coming Alexis's way for the next 20 years, because She's the one that's really this like already trying to outthink me. She dropped stuff and I told her to clean up. We were telling her. You know what she told us? What? She got on the ground. She goes, my knees hurt. And Russ, you're 3. Get up. She was all, but my knee.
I wondered where she learned that. That amazed me.
It was hilarious.
That amazed me.
She's
Where did she learn to say, my knee hurts?
Yeah. But she really is. She's like the princess of the group because she'll let the other 2 clean up for her. She'll do the least amount of work when you ask her. Just enough to like pass the smell test. And the other 2 are working like fiends. Look at this. You're ruining the studio.
Yeah.
So relaxed.
He's like
Fell asleep for a minute there.
I know. I don't know. But those are things that, we think about. And we're like, that's one thing I do. I look forward to Saturday and Sunday because I get to actually sleep.
Yeah. Well, it's like the old saying, the days go slow, but the years go fast.
Oh, and that I do think. He thinks it's that the 3 years has gone slow.
I do.
He feels like he's just sledging through it. And I think they've gone fast. I barely remember the first year was rough.
That's because you're sleep deprived and you're...
Oh, I was.
You don't remember anything.
And I still worked.
It's like...
We went to trial when the kids were home, 2 weeks? Something like that, a month. And they were small. Because we brought them home, they were probably 5 pounds each.
No,
more or less.
Close.
I think they were. This is an argument we have. But they were roughly 5 pounds. So, a month after we brought them home, we started a week-long trial in Galveston. So we had to drive back and forth. And I had to get up to feed Hattie and stuff. And, I was getting up at 3 and staying up from 3 all the way till the end of the day. And I would sleep an hour or 2 here and there. It was rough.
Yeah. But the thing is if we remembered the hard times, then we'd never have kids again. That's like that, with the labor pains and everything. They say, if you remembered that, you would never have kids again.
Oh yeah.
They said that's why it just kind of fades. We don't remember pain and trouble and things like that as much as we do those.
The good times.
Moments.
The good times. Well, they say that you have a really good first kid, so that when they give you the hell kid for second.
Yeah, well, you had them all once. You just got to figure out which one's which.
No, we already kind of know. Let's just put it, at this stage, we have a really good idea of who's who, which one is which. And we think, they're all, as far as we're concerned, they're all spoiled.
They are.
There's something else.
It's amazing. Spoiled triplets.
When you have your life and we're sitting there watching our DVR and there's a peg and corn. They mentioned that they liked it, so I started recording it, and I thought to myself, what brats, man.
My son's first Christmas when he could open stuff. So
mm-hmm. 2 to 3.
Yeah, he's right around. Yeah. And the entire room was full of gifts from grandparents, and it was like he got to the point where he was done. He didn't want to open anymore. He just stopped and started playing with stuff. And you talked about the spoiled thing, and it was like the other 2, that never happened. But because it's like we got to the point where it's like no, they don't need all that. Just,
no,
and then
I'm there already.
Then I started going, no, if you get a noisy thing, I'm throwing it away.
No, his eyes just go crazy because I come from such a big family that our rule usually is that we buy gifts. Everybody buys for under a certain age. So we go to Christmas and it looks like this whole half of this room is just their stuff.
Yeah.
And they plow through it. Mine don't get tired. They love opening gifts.
Yeah.
Addison's the worst though. She was helping open other gifts. So, that's just Christmas for them. So we'll take the whole back of the truck and have somebody have to carry other stuff. Their birthday party, they had so much stuff. I was just sitting there, my eyes were getting bigger and bigger, oh my God.
So much stuff that we didn't give it all to them at the one time.
Oh no.
We ration it out throughout the year.
Yeah. Well, and then
so they probably think they have 6 birthdays.
They didn't even know they had it.
Yeah.
Oh, and we
And
haven't
when you
yet.
get tired of that, you can bring something else out.
Well, they're not so bad that, I mean, let's say good things too. They're actually very good about, they listen for the most part, you know, which is better than some toddlers. Because I was talking to some of the moms and they're like, oh, I have to sit in the room when I put them down to bed because they'll play and do this. I said, what? I said, I put my kids in, blanket, 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 love you, love you, love you. I close the door. If I hear something, I walk in, get to bed, I go out, and they go to sleep. These women are like, I have to sit there till they fall asleep. I'm like, what is that about? I'm like, no.
They're very affectionate children, too.
They're affectionate. They listen. There's some of their toys are still sitting there, and I told them you can't touch those until you know, because we opened all this other stuff. I'm like, you're playing with this stuff. Leave it alone. Go put it back. And they'll go put it back. You know, they'll just eye it from afar. I need to go put it up somewhere, but all their places to put things up have stuff. I haven't had time to go through their old stuff and put it up. I've got 3 toy boxes full of toys. Plus what's hidden in their closets on top.
There's no
Yes.
shortage of things for them to play with.
Not at all.
That was like when we moved my daughter upstairs into my son's room and we took all his stuff out. I got an entire playroom full of stuff and I didn't even know how it fit in that room. And I'm like, and he's like, I don't have room for it. How am I going to put all this stuff?
Oh man, I would have boxed that stuff and sold it in the garage sale. Make some of my money back.
No, you would have talked about doing it.
He's saying that because our garage is full. But every time I want to have a garage sale, it rains. Like I wanted to do it today and it was projected to be storming.
We had a neighborhood garage sale a couple weeks ago and it rained. So it was like, yeah, okay.
Well, I can't even have the garage sale in the garage because there's no room to walk around. So that's why I can't do it, because if it rains, I can't put people in the garage.
It was supposed to be raining, wasn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, these guys, they just...
Meteorologists don't know anything. I've always thought that. I went to school in Syracuse, and they had one job. It's going to snow tomorrow.
Yeah.
They were always right.
Because it snowed all, 9 months out of the year?
Yeah.
That's like Houston. Being a weather person, Houston's easy in the summer.
Yeah.
It's
going to be
hot.
100 degrees.
It's going to be humid. And there's a chance of rain. No.
There's a chance of rain.
Once summer's over,
It's tricky.
we're not sure what's going to happen. We think it might snow, but it might be 90. We'll see.
In the same day.
And they may be right.
You may be right.
This is what's been happening.
If you don't like the weather in Texas, just wait 5 minutes.
All right. Well, hey guys, I want to thank you. Thanks for
Thanks Steve, for having us.
We appreciate
We
it.
enjoyed it.
It was fun, and we'll have to check in again maybe.
Oh,
Sure.
we'd
Do
be
it
glad
again.
to.
Yeah.
We're always
Because like I said, I got babysitters here.
Yeah, I was about to say we're always willing to unload our children.
I know. Now that they know you, we're like, here, and we'll get them back with cupcakes
With
all
cupcakes
over their
all
face.
their face.
Now you know how to win them over.
And high.
Nah.
These are Chewies. Yeah, they're called gummy bears.
Yeah, that day's coming. They love chewy, fruity snacks.
Oh, yeah, the sour
Love
gummy
'em.
bears.
Oh, I bet you they'd like them, the sour ones.
I don't think so.
I think they will. They like
They love the
Annalise
sweet
likes
fruit.
lemons.
Yeah, you're right.
Annalise eats lemons. Like she'll suck on them.
Well, I'm gonna stop it.
Okay.
Stop our recording, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Sure.
Oh, you're
No problem.
welcome.